Hundreds of entrepreneurs battle to be on Money Hunt.
I'm Mike O'Donnell with iCopyright. My business plan calls for $10 million for technology.
My company's developed an internet procurement solution that lets groups of businesses pool their purchasing power. Our business plan calls for $10 million to support the growth of
I'm Phil Sugar from Smart Button. My business plan calls for $2 million.
I'm the president and CEO of SciCentral.com. Our business plan calls for $1.5 million for e-commerce.
Only 2 will make our show, and only 1 will win time with our Money Hunt mentor. Stay tuned. Money Hunt is brought to you by Excite. Money Hunt is also made possible by Register.com, a first step for businesses and individuals starting their presence on the internet. And Jordan Industries, acquirers and builders of entrepreneurial ventures in a variety of industries.
Welcome to Money Hunt. I'm Miles Spencer. Being a successful entrepreneur means being great when it's showtime. It takes a total belief in your idea, in your company, and in yourself. So let's find out who's got what it takes, because it's time to play Money Hunt.
I'm Cliff Ennico. We invite entrepreneurs from around the country to show up on this show and prove to us that they've got the right stuff. Sometimes they can, and sometimes they can't. At the end, we pick one of our guests to receive some free help and guidance from our Money Hunt mentor.
And that would be Jim Lynch from Draper Atlantic, a managing director there. That's part of the Draper Group, a leader in startup venture capital, having invested in more than 150 companies. Welcome to Money Hunt, Jim.
Thanks very much. Nice to be here.
We're going to look at some companies from the internet space today. What are you looking for from guests?
We're looking in the internet space, we're looking big. We're looking at companies that have the potential to be $1 billion. And we're looking for management teams that show the capability of growing a company very quickly.
Big and smart.
Well, let's see if we got one. We found our first guest at a live audition at the Early Stage East Venture Fair in Delaware. Phil Sugar is backstage right now with Money Hunt's Margot Lee.
Phil, welcome to Money Hunt.
Thank you.
How much capital does your business plan call for?
Our business plan calls for $2 million.
How long have you been working on this idea?
About 6 months now.
Any days off in that 6 months?
Not too many.
All right, well, doors opening, Phil. Good luck and with your pitch on Money Hunt.
Thank you, Margot.
Phil Sugar is CEO of Smart Button Associates from Newark, Delaware. His company has developed software that helps companies learn an awful lot about what you do so they can develop marketing programs just for you. Phil, welcome to Money Hunt.
Thank you.
How'd you get the idea for this company?
2 great technical guys that I knew, Jim Altrichter and Sam Forker, started this business and convinced me to come on board to manage it and grow it.
Oh, cool.
So a hired gun. Tell me just what the company does. I understand you do some predictive modeling for the pari-mutuel industry, but for folks at home, can you bring that down to exactly what your company does for your clients?
We collect information on all the different activities a person might do in a particular place. So that might be a website, that might be a gaming place. And we take all that information, collect it, and store it so that people and the companies can provide better marketing plans to those consumers.
You brought a little presentation on your computer. Let's cue that, bring that open and cue it up in the screen. Why don't you quickly go through and show us what we've got here?
Sure. The first screen shows our actual player activity screen, which shows the actual details of what a player does.
Okay.
Our second screen actually shows how you can group players by different amounts, by how much they are spending.
Right.
Then you can aggregate all this information in graphs. And the user interface is actually very sophisticated and easy using wizards like Microsoft Office.
So how would that help one of your clients market to, obviously you had my name up there, how would they use it?
Well, what they would do is they would say, Miles might go, let's take an example at, let's say, a track. Miles might bet quite a bit on slot machines, but not bet too much on horse racing. They might say, here's a free dinner for you, Miles. Why don't you come and learn about horse racing and then be able to track the results of that marketing program.
I noticed you focused originally in pari-mutuel wagering, but then I looked at the competition who's already into slots. Two other companies. Have they prevented you from getting into the slots by really dominating that market?
No, not at all. The whole basis of our business plan is we pull information from the slot machine systems, from pari-mutuel systems, from food and beverage systems, from multiple systems. And people that just provide tools based on one system, that's not really where our strength lies.
And pari-mutuel, by the way, we mean horse betting, basically.
Yes.
That's the technical term for that. But Phil, I got a question. There's a big concern these days about privacy on the internet. You're obviously not getting the consent of the little old ladies pulling the one-armed bandits when they do this. Is that an issue for you guys going forward, even if you stay within the gaming industry?
People sign up for cards, and they sign up to be in a player grouping. And why?
So
because you have to provide value back. You have to provide those free dinners, and you
Jim
have
wants
to
to
give
get you
consent.
out of gaming. So where else would you go? What's the next market that you
I want to get you out of gaming, and I also want to get you out of tools. We have a little expression, we don't do tools. We like solutions. Have you thought about ways you can use these relational databases to come up with solutions?
Yes, we've looked at solutions that we can provide to both the credit card industry and the internet industry, and our plan calls for us to get a lighthouse customer in each of those industries.
Let's talk about your revenue. I mean, you have a very interesting revenue model. Basically, people, your gaming customers, the casinos, pay a small amount up front, but then that scales upwards as they get bigger and bigger based on volume of users. Is that right?
That's correct.
Am I reading that right? Shouldn't it be the other way around? I mean, shouldn't you ask a lot of money from the people who only have a few, thousand users and then scale downwards when people get up to a couple of million?
I think that brings the question of value. We are providing value as the number of customers scales up, as the size gets bigger, and that's how we charge. And
you give a great term, lighthouse customer, we hadn't learned before. Basically, that means someone that can serve as a beacon that's well known in the industry. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
That's nice vernacular. Now, tell me about in the credit card space. Give me an example of what you would provide to a credit card issuer that they can use for their marketing purposes.
Okay, credit card companies have information on all sorts of different databases, depending on what you do, what types of trips you like to go on, and what we would provide to a credit card company is the ability to integrate that information and provide marketing programs to you, the credit card user.
Okay, now Phil, I noticed that right now you're using client server.
Yes.
Do you have an internet strategy?
Absolutely.
I didn't really see it well articulated in the plan.
Okay. As we move forward, we will have a Java-based server so people can actually use our information over the net, and we can actually serve up our information on application servers.
Phil,
Real time.
Real time.
Okay.
Phil, your competition, basically, Miles talked before about international gaming technology, all of them have one thing in common. They also supply gaming hardware. They supply the slot machines. They supply the pari-mutuel betting apparatus.
Yes.
Isn't that a crushing competitive advantage in their favor?
No, I think that's
You don't
not.
do hardware?
I think being linked to hardware is a very difficult business to be in.
I'll buy that. Let's go on to management and money. Your business plan calls for some capital. How much? What would you use it for?
Our business plan calls for $2 million. We would use it to expand our sales and marketing organization, to build those lighthouse customers, and also to develop a board of advisors and a formal board to help us move forward.
You were brought on as a hired gun. What talent do you bring to the party that the founders were needing, and what other talent do you need to bring in with the additional dollars?
I bring in the business and the finance talent and the experience in growing a company from 2 to 180 people, and so that's what I bring in. We will bring in additional sales and marketing expertise.
Phil,
So you're the only non-techie right now?
That's correct.
Okay.
Phil, tough management question. Your board consists of a lot of heavy hitters in the gaming industry and some very incredible people from the gaming industry. How are you going to get these people out of the way to find the room for the people in other industries like credit cards?
We will, there's so much market opportunity there that we'll be able to easily move into that area.
Great. Phil, thanks so much for coming into the show. You stay here.
Okay.
Let's see if we're going to take a bet on him when we come back. Our second entrepreneur after this.
Hi, I'm Robin Schatz from Business Week Frontier with a tip for entrepreneurs. If you think paying your taxes is a chore now, wait until you get called for an IRS audit. There's a very good chance you never will, but there are certain red flags that could bring the IRS to your doorstep. Tax experts say the feds typically flag Schedule C and corporate filings where there's a net loss from high expenses. Other red flags: high travel and entertainment expenses and excessive use of independent contractors. For more help, talk to your accountant.
Welcome back to Money Hunt. Time for some email. Roseanne Pugliese watches us on KQED San Francisco. I need a corporate lawyer to help me draft an offering memorandum, but I don't have a lot of money. Is it legal to offer a lawyer stock or options as payment for legal services? I'll be right over. Actually, it is legal, but the rules of ethics under which lawyers operate, yes, Virginia, there are rules of ethics for lawyers, may prohibit lawyers from taking stock or options as compensation. For the same reason, some lawyers will be nervous about sitting on your board of directors. They're afraid it'll interfere with their independent legal judgment. So find a lawyer who's totally unscrupulous and you'll be okay. If you have a question for us, you can reach us now on the web at excite.com. Just type Money Hunt when you get to the search button. Our next guest, Mike O'Donnell, is backstage right now with Money Hunt's Margot Lee.
Mike, welcome to Money Hunt.
Thanks, good to be here.
How much capital does your business plan call for?
Calls for $10 million.
What are you going to emphasize out there today?
Killer technology and a compelling brand strategy.
Did you do anything special to prepare for your appearance?
Watched every show you ever made.
Great. Well, we'll see how you do with Miles and Cliff. The door's opening. Welcome to Money Hunt.
Thanks, Margot.
Hey, Mike O'Donnell is president and CEO of iCopyright, Seattle, Washington. iCopyright is an internet clearinghouse of articles, photos, transcripts, music clips, and other cool stuff that users can download without having to go to the author or publisher directly for permission. Mike, welcome to Money Hunt.
Thank you, great to be here.
Tell us a little bit about the genesis of this company. How did it get started?
I was building world-class web communities, and all of the content that I was aggregating from some of the big players, they just kept asking me over and over again, how are you going to protect this? How are you going to let people know that this is our intellectual property? And so finally I decided to do something about the problem.
Tell me about what the company does.
This is Business Week on the web. They're one of our clients. And at the very bottom of any web page, we light up the copyright symbol.
Okay.
And it tells you this is a place to get the reprints and permissions. So if you clicked on the copyright symbol, it launches a little clearance window. It tells you who owns it, who publishes it, and then you can see what you can do with it. So if you want to order a professional reprint, for example, you would click that button.
Right.
And you would click Submit Clearance. You would say, yes, I agree to the licensing agreement. And we put you into our partnership with Kinko's, and you can place an order, and you can even preview the document online, and you're good to go.
Great. Well, give me an example of what it would look like if I went through that system.
Well, you notice that the original page that we clicked on, typically content on the internet has the ad banner at the top,
Right.
it has the nav bar, it prints the URL. It just doesn't look really good when it's being printed off the web.
Right.
But through our system, not only do you get a legal license, and we tag all the derivative uses so you can always find your way back to the original material, but what we deliver is a superior product, the high-res assets.
Tough question. If I click on that icon at the bottom of the page, does that do anything? In other words, I can still print it or download it even though I don't click on your logo to get the permission. Is that
You
right?
can illegally.
You can
Well,
illegally.
that's what I'm getting at. Three words. Giant, messy lawsuit. Until that happens on the web and someone really gets embarrassed, I don't see the company
already happening.
really breaking out.
$1 million lawsuits already happening all over the internet.
And were you the tattletale on that?
Absolutely not. We do not police. We simply enable.
Mike, I love the business plan.
Thank
It hits a lot of our hot buttons. First mover, internet clearinghouse model, digital content,
E-commerce.
and there's one weak spot, which I think Miles has hit on, and that is this depends on changing behavior. People need to understand that digital content is not free.
Only in the consumer market, not in the business market. Corporations already spend $3 billion a year to legally license in reprints and material.
Okay.
It's just an underserved, underdeveloped market because it's a haphazard, confusing process today.
Okay. Mike, how do you go about getting the rights from the major publishers? Don't they want exclusives and stuff like that?
It's their business rules. It's their content. We're just lighting up the copyright symbol at the bottom of their web pages, and we actually conduct the permission and the reprint clearance on their behalf.
Totally
and we take
automated?
a transaction fee.
Totally automated?
90% of it is automated.
But do they give you exclusive rights? In other words, are you the only place that people can use to get rights for Business Week articles?
Well, right now
Online.
there's only room for one copyright symbol on the bottom of any web page, and we own it.
There you go. Well, there's a good point. Yeah, Now, you're in Business Week, but it only is as good as the number of copyright symbols that are at the bottom of pages that good corporate citizens are reading and want to reprint. So how about telling me about some sort of viral distribution for that iCopyright system that's going to allow that to be everywhere?
These publishers, they own the media, and we're integrated into the media. They do the promotion for us because they call attention to the fact that that copyright symbol is hot. It's active. Click on here.
Mike,
for
what's to
reprints
prevent
information.
Kinko's from coming up with their own copyright symbol and sticking that on some
They're
people's
a
web
strategic
pages?
partner of ours. They're not in the business of copyright permissions. They're in the business of
Okay, then
producing
how about
print.
Bound & Company then?
There you go.
Bound & Company,
Yeah.
they're in the business of print. They're not in the business of doing clearances on a worldwide basis.
Okay, Mike, you mentioned your service is 90% automated.
Correct. There's about 10% of clearances
tell me about the 10%.
that require a negotiation.
Okay, tell me about it.
Okay, if I want to get the rights perhaps to put material into a movie, for example, that may be a negotiated clearance. But 90% of all clearances can be automated because they're standard. This is what you can do with it. This is who you are. This is what it costs.
Right.
And they can all be done over the web without human intervention.
So when you look at text, audio, and video in the future, what do you see the breakdown in terms of future revenues?
Text and photos
Right.
being automated,
Right.
music,
Right.
and then eventually video.
Right. But size of market, how do those three stack up?
The music market is large, but it's a very noisy space. So we're focusing on the articles, the print, and the photography right now.
Right, but I'm saying at the end of the day, when you look at those three markets, which is the biggest?
The biggest eventually is going to be video on demand via the internet. But that's a couple years down the road. We've got to focus.
Absolutely convinced that the good corporate citizen goes through this process. Let's walk through it one more time. I work for a Fortune 500 company. I found an article. I want to put it in a presentation. 1,000 people are going to see it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I click on it, and I saw, I believe, a couple of bucks for a permission. Let's say it's 5, it's 10. Maybe I don't want to take it out of my own pocket and pay you for that. Are there already accounts set up where
Yes.
a good corporate citizen acting on behalf of his company can just drop that into his account?
We've already signed up 15 of the Fortune 500 companies. For example,
15?
15. Hewlett-Packard is a customer of ours. Internally, every month, their corporate librarians try to process 4,000 requests internally to licensing content. They can only clear 20% of that.
There you go. Let's go on to management and money. Your business
Yeah.
plan calls for some additional capital. How much?
Correct.
What would you use it for?
$10 million to deploy this system on a worldwide basis so that we can clear content from any website in about 3 minutes.
Talk about deploying. Is that really portal deals? Is it deals?
Servers.
Okay.
Servers close to the content that we're clearing. They're called clearance servers.
Mike, fund management question. You got a very impressive board. I see you got a former governor of New York on your board, but you've got 4, I think maybe 5 lawyers on your board. How's it feel to be the only dog managing a bunch of cats?
I'm surrounded by the attorneys, but we're doing things that we are protecting people's assets, their intellectual property. It is a highly legal service that we're providing.
It is. The nature of the business is legal by its nature, but aren't these guys all from one firm?
Oh no, they're from a variety of different firms.
They are. Okay.
Yes.
Mike, have you thought of partnering with an enforcement group?
We have. Surveillance. We've already talked to them about a strategic partnership so that when there's a case of infringement, they will let the infringer know and then say, by the way, go to iCopyright to get your instant clearance.
Right. Nothing like a stick to get you
Exactly.
excited about the carrot.
Mike, one of the hottest things in publishing right now is books on demand, where I can go into, say, a Barnes & Noble and just order a book, and they actually print it out for me and bind it while I wait. How does your business tie into that?
That is hot. If you wanted to actually reprint or reuse anything from that book, you'd have to call the publisher. It's a weeks of back and forth, phone calls, faxes. It's a nightmare to get the clearance.
So you can't do that yet through your site, or is your site the solution?
That's our site's the solution. Instant clearance on any material in any form.
Interesting stuff. Thank you so much for coming in for the presentation.
Pleasure.
We're going to break for a partners meeting. We'll be back right after this.
When you own your own business, you will have to make great sacrifices of money and time. When you think about going into business with someone else, do your homework first and ask, is this someone I would want to be in trouble with?
Welcome back to Money Hunt. It's time for our partners meeting. Let's flesh these plans out. First entrepreneur, Phil Sugar, Smart Button. I was there, but I can't tell you what this guy does.
Okay. Miles, the best way is probably to use an example. Let's say you're at a slot machine, on a Tuesday afternoon in a casino, pulling the lever. basically what his software does is that loads that information down into a database and it combines it with other information about you. So for example, he can know that you, every Tuesday afternoon you do slot machines, you also eat at certain restaurants, and you don't do horse betting on horse races. They can take that information and then sell that to people who can use that to deliver customized promotions to you. Jim, is that an accurate illustration?
It. And it does have broad applicability outside the gaming industry. However, I'm just not comfortable with the initial focus on the gaming industry, and his management team is extremely
Jim,
thin.
I agree. Right now, he's got a problem with his corporate culture is what he's got. I mean, the culture of this company is so heavily focused on gaming that even though he wants sincerely to break out, I think it's going to take a real paradigm shift to get him there.
Then again, he was, he's a hired gun. He was brought in by friends, admittedly, but basically they were tech folks that developed it. Phil, from the background of the business plan, he's got good discipline and CFO and sales, well-rounded. He's built a group before, so while he does inherit some luggage, the fact of the matter is he's been brought in to change just that. Consulting's been good for them, but not a scalable business. That's always a concern. And having competition already entrenched in the slots, it would seem that would be the next place he would go. I think he ought to head towards the credit card companies.
Heavy competition, and also, too, his competition is also involved in the hardware side of the business. I think I disagree with him. I think that really is an issue because they're better placed to get their product combined with the hardware.
What other markets can he attack?
I see he's a lone wolf in a doggy industry.
Well put. Let's move on to Mike O'Donnell. iCopyright. This one I did understand. 3 words: giant, messy lawsuit. I think that once folks understand that it's not just the pirates of the internet that think everything's free, but the good corporate citizens that want to comply. He's a facilitator of being able to comply.
Believe it or not, Miles, I agree with you. When I'm not doing Money Hunt, one of the things I do, I run a small niche publisher, and I never put things on my website that I don't expect are going to be immediately stolen by people on the web. His stuff doesn't really solve my problem as a publisher. What is really needed is technology that blocks people from being able to download and print stuff off the internet until that icon is clicked and you pay your license fee. And to my knowledge, Jim, that technology doesn't exist yet.
I see the big B here, B standing for billion.
Right.
This is a huge potential market, and they are the first mover. Yes, there are some warts, but I think we need to focus on the upside here. And the upside is this company could be the only clearinghouse for digital content on the internet, the one and only. And that's huge.
Yeah, I agree. Couple that with technology that prevents you from using stuff that's not licensed, and I think it's a killer app.
Okay.
Well, there
Absolutely.
you get into that. Where is the technology for preventing people? He says, look, we're non-punitive, and it's hard to be the tattletale out there, but at the same time, he needs that. He did mention that he did have someone that he was working with as an enforcer, if you will, to go out and break the arms and legs of folks that are violating their copyright.
Also, I like his management team. He's got a great management team and a great board.
Yeah, except, Jim, I hate to say this, and forgive me, I'm the only person on the table who can really say this. He's got too many lawyers there.
Well,
he really does. I mean, he needs to get more business people involved to balance that.
I agree with you. I think that'll come, though.
Yeah, a viral marketing strategy. I think that's just critical. He has got to get that copyright symbol or his copyright symbol at the bottom of every major publisher's web content.
To his credit, though, he's done that. He's blocked off a lot of different names, although I noticed the one name he didn't get was permissions.com, which as a publisher would be the one that would come to mind most readily to me. But he's got all the other ones that I could think of.
Maybe, maybe not. It would be interesting to see if he comes back for an update just how ubiquitous his name and his copyright symbol has become. Rules say you got to help one Jim with an hour of your time. Who's it going to be, Phil or Mike, and why?
Miles, Cliff, this is a no-brainer. iCopyright Inc. has got a huge market potential. You have the opportunity to be the first mover in this space, and this is a billion-dollar company.
The B word comes out.
Right, the B word.
There you go.
Management team looks good. They got a great board.
Okay, let's go to some reactions with Mario Lee backstage.
Phil, the company's got all the chips on you to expand you guys beyond gaming.
Yes, I think as an early stage company, that will be my challenge over the next year.
Hey, Mike, good corporate citizens, real key to your business.
Yes, it is. And they all want to do the right thing. They just want the content now.
Sure, you're going to have a great time talking to Jim. Here's his business card with the hour of consulting. Let us know how it turns out.
Thanks.
Miles?
Thanks, Margot. Money Hunt's all about learning to be a better entrepreneur, and a big part of that process is our mentor, Jim Lynch from Draper Atlantic. Thanks for coming in today. One last question before we get out of here. What's the greatest challenge entrepreneurs must overcome?
Miles, it's all about partnering. Entrepreneurs are by their nature tend to be lone rangers. but you can't do it by yourself. It's a big world out there. You need financial partners, you need content partners. You got to pick your partners right, and you got to find partners you really can add value.
Wise words.
So right. So you think this is easy, pitching your business before a bunch of business dogs and legal cats while a nationwide TV audience looks on? It's not.
If you think you're one of those great entrepreneurs that Jim spoke about, get in touch with us through our online audition. Maybe we'll be seeing you on Money Hunt.
Starting or growing your own business? Miles and Cliff have 27 rules to help you succeed. Based on actual events from our Money Hunt guests, this book is full of timeless stories and valuable lessons for today's entrepreneur. Purchase your copy by calling 1-800-925-0745. For $25 plus $3 shipping and handling, Money Hunt's 27 rules are also available at bookstores nationwide or by ordering from our website at www.moneyhunt.com. Money Hunt is brought to you by Excite. Money Hunt is also made possible by register.com, a first step for businesses and individuals starting their presence on the internet. And Jordan Industries, acquirers and builders of entrepreneurial ventures in a variety of industries.